Hold up. Wait a minute. Bruh. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits. Drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring cults. Exploring. Researching. Debunking. Investigating. Being nosy. Super nosy. Being messy. Being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me. The chick with ADHD. Unmedicated. But quite educated. Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop some drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like. Hit that like. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Happy Friday. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please. And thank you guys. We have so much to review, so much happening. And I'm looking at the poll. So let me tell you the two things that are happening. Well, there's a couple things, but I do want to tell you the creepiest thing is happening as we are speaking. And I'm sure that this is just nothing but an imposter, I don't know, somebody, or maybe it's the Jeffrey Epstein, but it's a parody account dropping something special tonight. Just an FYI, there is no sold account or coin. They are all scams, and we're not part of any of them. Yeah, so I'm back. The Jeffrey Epstein parody online Twitter account is making kind of cryptic messages, dropping something special. I can't stop laughing. Jeffrey Epstein has invited you to get verified. This is anyone else using an Elon emoji. It is just creepy. Anyways, let's move on. So I wanted to point that out, but let me look at the poll. So we have two legal paperworks. We have the motion to unseal, which is clearly something that we're going to review right now. It's very short, so it shouldn't even be too long to review. And then we have the Wall Street Journal lawsuit. President Trump has decided to sue the Wall Street Journal. For those that have just woken up today and maybe weren't awake yesterday about what was happening, the Wall Street Journal wrote a piece on Trump. And apparently Trump came back and saying it's fake news as far as him writing a letter to Jeffrey Epstein on his 50th birthday. And the Wall Street Journal is like, no, it's not a fake. It's a real. So I don't know. We're going to look at that lawsuit as well. So why don't we start right there? Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please. And thank you. Hold up now. Give me 1 second. Wow. What? Who's this? Hold up. Let me show you. Can I show this, Sylvia? Sylvia just sent me something. I'm going to share this. Okay. What is this?
Release show that Trump is all over the files. He's in multiple pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. There's multiple videos of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. There are plane logs of Trump on Epstein's plane. There are statements by Trump about Epstein. There are court pleadings of alleged victims of Epstein naming Trump. So we need to have these Epstein files released. The Epstein files that have already been released show that Trump is all over the files. He's in multiple pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. There's multiple videos of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. There are plane logs of Trump on Epstein's plane. There are statements by Trump about Epstein. There are court pleadings of alleged victims of Epstein naming Trump. So we need to have these Epstein files released. The Epstein files that have already...
Okay. Thank you, Sylvia, for sharing. And this is a Rep Ted. Is it Lou? This is People Over Politics. I couldn't agree more. People Over Politics. So he gave a statement. Thank you so much for this. Let me go ahead and follow so I can do a little bit more research on it. And look, he's talking about the client
Where
list.
is that client list? What is Attorney General Pam Bondi hiding? She needs to release the Epstein files as soon as possible. I've also noticed that there's been an uptick in activity around the Epstein files recently. I just want to remind the American people that in February of this year, Attorney General Pam Bondi acknowledged the existence of Jeffrey Epstein's client list. In fact, she said that Jeffrey Epstein's client list is, quote, sitting on my desk right now. Where is that client list? What is Attorney General Pam Bondi hiding? She needs to release the Epstein files as soon as possible. I talked about the Epstein files under the Biden administration. I'm talking about it under the Trump administration.
Good.
This is a case of the powerful protecting the powerful. We need to have those files released. Where is that client?
I couldn't agree more. They should have been released before. They should continue to be released. Now, Didi just blessed this chat with 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Didi. Make sure if you guys have been gifted, put some hearts in the chat. Thank you, Didi. Oh my God, 10. Thank you, Didi. Jen Hack, thank you for being a member for 6 months. Thank you, Jen, for supporting the channel. Greek Lady, hello, Rabbit. Thank you for doing this time to find out who the Pedialites are and call themselves, the ones that call themselves the elite. Couldn't agree more. Parasites, justice for E-Island victims. For those victims, period. There you go. Lifestyle is like a box of chocolates. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the $4.99. I appreciate it. You guys don't even know how much that means. Y'all, like, I said this yesterday and I say it in every stream. You know, it's not always about a super chat or everything. As long as you guys are hitting that like button, because I'm a little channel. I'm not Law and Crime. I'm not these big old, networks. I get shut down and it's just me fighting. And I'm just going to do as much as I can to release as much information that's out there. You don't have to go look for it. That's my job to do it. And we're going to talk about it. So I'm looking at the poll right now. And thank you, Sylvia. I hope you have a good day at work. Sylvia, well, not Sylvia. Shout out to Sylvia. But 86% said, let's read this motion to unseal. We have the motion. Oh, Lord. Give me 1 sec, guys. 1 sec. Baby Bunny just had to come in the room. The sitter let her come in the room. All right, let's get into this. I have here's this it? Yep. Here it is, my friends. So we have it on. I'm going to blow it up for everybody so everybody can see it. And this is what I pulled today. Now, let me make myself let me make the print a little bit bigger so everybody can read it too. If you guys want to. Okay. And let's put a little watermark on it because people like to steal the docs when we get them. I got to do what I got to do. See if I can find a little watermark. Is this a watermark? Yeah, here, we'll do this one. What's this one? Yeah, we could do this one too. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so here we go. All right. Making sure I got the right document because I have another document open. Here we go. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please. And thank you. Shanna, thank you so much for the $5. Great coverage. Thank you. Give me 1 sec, guys. Sorry about that. Baby Bunny be coming in and then everything has to stop. Okay, so she's with the sitter now. Chana, thank you again for the $5. I appreciate it. Okay, here we go. So let's get it together. So this was filed today, the 18th. Okay, document 61, pages 1 of 4, and this is United States versus Jeffrey Epstein defendant. Case numbers right there. United States motion to unseal grand jury transcripts. Okay, and I have some highlights here because I was working on a pre-recorded, but I said, I really want to do this live with folks, okay? At the direction of the Attorney General, the Department of Justice hereby moves the court to release grand jury transcripts associated with the above referenced indictment. On July 6, 2025, the Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigations issued a memorandum describing an exhaustive review undertaken of investigative holdings relating to Jeffrey Epstein, the Memorandum 1. And I believe that is the document that was released by the FBI, and we've been reviewing it extensively here on this channel, where they said that they did everything and there's nothing else to do with this situation. But they're referencing this here. The memorandum detailed the steps taken by the Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigations to determine whether evidence existed that could predicate an investigation into uncharged third parties. As the memorandum concluded, no such evidence was uncovered during the review. I take issue with that. I highlighted it because how is it that they can't do anything when this has been years and years of these alleged crimes, or these crimes that happen to these young people, right? So now they can't find anything to charge or to go after third parties. I find that very hard to believe, but that's just my opinion. As the memorandum concludes, no such evidence was uncovered during the review. Since July 6, 2025, there has been an extensive public interest in the basis for the memorandum's conclusion. There's always been a public interest in Jeffrey Epstein's case, okay? While the Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigations continues to adhere to the conclusions reached in the memorandum, transparency to the American public is at most important to this administration. Yeah, right. Side note, Joe, thank you so much for the $1.99. You made a YT home for everyone who is not an a-hole. Joe, I take that as a compliment. I'm so glad that you said that, my love. And I know Joe, shout out to Joe, man. Shout out to Joe. I'll say something maybe at a different life, but shout out to Joe. Joe's a real one in the chat. Shout out to her. Since July 2025, there has been an extensive public interest in the basis for the memorandum's conclusion. Okay. While the Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigation continues to adhere to the conclusions reached in the memorandum, transparency to the American public is of utmost importance to the administration. Yeah, okay. Given the public interest in the investigative work conducted by the Department of Justice and FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, into Epstein, the Department of Justice moves the court to unseal the underlying grand jury transcripts in United States versus Epstein, subject to appropriate retractions of victim-related and other personal identifying information, which we've said should happen, okay? The department will work with the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York to make appropriate redactions of victim-related information and other personal identifying information prior to releasing the transcripts. And I have issues. We have a lot of issues because it's just transcripts. I don't know. There was just so much that was said that all of this contained to just say that we're only looking at transcripts. However you land with that, okay? Transparency in this process will not be at the expense of our obligation under the law to protect victims. Transparency in this process will not be at the expense of our obligation under the law to protect the victims. That's fine. On July 2nd, 2019, a grand jury sitting in the Southern District of New York returned an indictment charging Epstein with S trafficking offenses. On August 10, 2019, while awaiting trial, Epstein committed S in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. Soon after, the court dismissed the indictment. Okay. So people are aware. On June 29, 2020, a grand jury sitting in the Southern District of New York charged Epstein's longtime confidant Maxwell with numerous offenses related to trafficking and coercion of minors. In December of 2021, a jury found Maxwell guilty on several counts. Maxwell was sentenced to 240 months imprisonment, and a Second Circuit later affirmed her conviction and sentence. Okay, so they're citing the cases. On July 6, 2025, the Department of Justice and FBI announced the conclusion of the review of the particulars of Epstein's crimes and death. Since then, the public's interest in the Epstein matter has remained. I object to that statement. The public, and I don't speak for, I'm one person in the public, okay? Just one person. Y'all are the public. Shout out to the public, okay? I am one person in the public. And let me just say this. I take issue with that. It's not since the conclusion. There has always been a thing about the Epstein files and Epstein and the elites and connections and third parties, all kinds of stuff, right? So for them to take this little shift right here that like suddenly they couldn't come up with the conclusion. No, is the interest has always been there. You guys have known that. Hell, this administration used it to campaign during their time. So yeah, no. I've just got to say about that. That's what I got to say. It's crazy. It's crazy. Hold up. Court cannot unseal public interest. Specific legal reasons to unseal testimony is not present here. See, and David, I did a video. I'm so glad you brought this up. I did a video earlier today. And there was a lawyer on, what was his name? Brian Tyler Cohen's video. And he gave some commentary and he said, this is he called it a hollow promise from Trump. And I was really stricken by that because of, I guess, in specific to the grand jury, there's only so much information that they can release. So are they stringing us along? If they can find a judge, or if there's wiggle room in that, and it says it in the documents too, that typically things that have been sealed you can't unseal, that there's more to it. So we're going to get to that part, but I do wonder how much information we're actually going to get. Or is this just like a stupid attempt to string people along, and then if it doesn't go through, he's going to blame everybody, blame the judge, horrible judge, blame all these people about the situation. It does feel a little bit like gaslighting. It does. It really does. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please. And thank you. Hold up now. Let me pause this real quick because, okay. Thank you. That part, yeah, Trump is going to postpone everything until the term is over. That's what it seems like. I think that it's going to be one of those things where we're never really going to know the truth, but hey, that's just my thought. Okay. It further goes. All right. So since then, the public's interest in the Epstein matter has remained. Given this longstanding and legitimate interest, the government now moves to unseal grand jury transcripts associated with Epstein. Now, footnote, the Department of Justice is filing similar motions in Maxwell. And this is in Florida. So they're going to look at Maxwell as well. Okay. This is page 3 of 4. It's very short. Okay. And here, this is where it gets to the privacy of the jury, which is the issue that a lot of people brought up. And that's why I made a video earlier. It is a tradition of law that proceedings before a grand jury shall generally remain secret. Okay, so they cite a case. The tradition of secrecy, however, is not absolute. Okay. Although Rule 6b(3) of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedures generally lists the exceptions to grand jury secrecy, the Second Circuit has recognized there are certain special circumstances in which the release of grand jury records is appropriate, even outside of the boundaries of the rule. Okay. And then they cite more cases, and it further says, does not displace the inherent power. It merely identifies a permissive list of situations where the power can be used. On one such special circumstances is historical interest in the public. I have not seen anything when I was reading the rule, that specific thing. It didn't say anything about special circumstances in is historical interest by the public. Under this, the court retains discretion to determine whether such an interest outweighs the countervailing interest in privacy and secrecy. Public officials, lawmakers, pundits, and ordinary citizens remain deeply interested and concerned about the Epstein matter. Indeed, other jurists have released grand jury transcripts after concluding that Epstein's case qualifies as a matter of public concern. Okay. That's going to be something that the judge is going to weigh in. He's going to be like, is this a matter of public concern? Okay. So they cite more cases. After all, Jeffrey Epstein is the most infamous Pedialyte in American history. The facts surrounding Epstein case tells a tale of national disgrace. Okay. Discussing the plea agreement secured by Epstein in Florida. So there's more sightings in there. The grand jury records are thus critical piece of an important moment in our nation's history. The time for the public to guess what they contain should end. Notably, the privacy interests at stake on the other side of the balance are substantially diminished due to Epstein's death. Of course, as noted above, the Department of Justice will work with the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York to redact all victim identifying information prior to any release. For these reasons, this court should conclude that Epstein and Maxwell cases qualify as a matter of public interest, release the associated grand jury transcripts, and lift any, okay, here it is, any pre-existing protective orders. It is entirely conceivable that in some situations, historical or public interest alone could justify the release of grand jury information. So here it is. It's just 4 pages, and Pam Bondi and Todd, the Deputy Attorney General and the U.S. Attorney General, are basically, this is what they filed today. Okay, this was filed today. Now I want to go because I saw that there was another video that was done soon after this one. Hold up. Was it Brian? Hold up. Big revelation. FBI was ordered to flag Epstein records mentioning Trump, says Senator. Get the... I swear, every time we make 2, 5, 10 steps ahead, we're going 10 steps back. What? This is you got to be kidding me. When was this? Now, I want to see if there's any actual... Is there any validity to this? How do we know this? They said, big revelation. FBI was ordered to flag Epstein records mentioning Trump, says Senator. Okay.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Donald Trump is doing his best to fight his way out of the Jeffrey Epstein mess he has created for himself.
Oh, my God.
Tonight, filing a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal and News Corp.
And we have that lawsuit, by the way.
And Rupert Murdoch himself for their report of his alleged birthday letter to Epstein. This while his Department of Justice scrambles to kind of appear to release some of the Epstein files in an effort, obviously, to placate his agitated MAGA base. Ooh. We're going to get to the lawsuit in a minute. But first, the Department of Justice filed a motion to unseal grand jury information from both the case of late child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and his associate, currently in federal prison, Ghislaine Maxwell.
So hers is a Florida one, just so people are aware.
On its face, it appears to be a good thing because people want transparency. They want the files released. But there's a huge caveat here. Not only is the department going to redact identifying information about the victims, which they very well should, they are also going to redact identifying information about anyone else whose name might come up in the documents in question. Quote, the department will work with the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York to make appropriate redactions of victim-related information and other personal identifying information prior to releasing the transcripts. Obviously, all victim-related information absolutely must be redacted. But also, why redact the other personal identifying information? I mean, if you are trying to look like you're transparent, avoid looking like you're covering something up, that seems like probably not the best way to go about it. But that is not the only big revelation we got today. The top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, which of course oversees the FBI and the Department of Justice, now says that bureau agents were instructed to flag to DOJ about any Epstein records that mention Donald Trump. Get this is a new letter out today.
Get out of here. There's a new what today? Dear Attorney General Bondi, On July 7th, the Department of Justice, DOJ, and Federal Bureau of Investigation released an unsigned memorandum regarding the Trump administration exhaustive review of the Epstein. Okay, we know this, and the list, and yada, yada. The first findings directly contradict public statements you have repeatedly made. On February 21st, 17 days after you confirm as Attorney General, you were asked by Fox News, America Reports host John Roberts, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein clients. Okay, I feel like we know this, but what?
To Attorney General Pam Bondi from Ranking Member Dick Durbin, who writes this, quote, according to information my office received, you pressured the FBI to put approximately 1,000 personnel in its information management division on 24-hour shifts to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records.
100,000. So back in February, when she wrote that, letter to Kash Patel, because she had a fire on her ass when she found out that the FBI office in New York had more stuff in there, that it wasn't just this FBI office. This is like a mess.
Adding, quote, my office was told these personnel were instructed to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned. What? And all this comes just a day after that shocking story in the Wall Street Journal about what the paper described as a, quote, bawdy birthday letter bearing Trump's signature written to Epstein back in 2003 before his first arrest. Quoting from the journal's description, the letter bearing Trump's name, which was reviewed by the journal.
Guys, we have that. Okay, Kiss and Mooch, I just opened it. Thank you so much. She just emailed it to me. Hold up. Let's look into this right here. This is the this is the letter that they're talking about specifically. This is insane. Dick Durbin, Senator. Thank you, Evil Queen. Thank you. Total corruption. Lord have mercy. You cannot make this ish up. Do people sleep? Do these people? I mean, listen. I don't know. Okay, July 18th. So let's read a little bit of this. I'm trying to understand because this is a very extensive letter. So it says that on July 7th, the Department of Justice, DOJ, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, released an unsigned memorandum regarding the Trump administration exhaustive review. Okay, we read this. The memorandum made two official findings. Number one, the systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. Number two, after a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed S in his cell at the MCC in New York. Okay, now it further goes. The first finding directly contradicts public statements you have repeatedly made. On February 21st, 17 days later after your confirmation as a attorney general, you were asked directly by the Fox News America Reports host John Roberts, DOJ may be releasing the list of Epstein clients. Will that really happen? Your response was, it's sitting on my desk right now. So we've seen this clip. It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That was on February 27th. You released binders of documents related to Epstein to conservative influencers and commentators. But despite the majority media event, the White House stage around this release, these files were largely already publicly available, which we know this. We called this shit out when it happened. Anyways, after intense blowback, I swear to God, they need to call it the blowback situation because everybody's getting blowback. They can't get this thing right. They can't get it right. It's the blowback era. It's the blowback administration. There you go. After intense blowback from this incident, you appeared on Fox News show Life Liberty Levine and claimed that a whistleblower told you that the New York SDNY was sitting on thousands of pages of documents. Didn't I say this on the February letter? We brought this up. This was just 2 days ago. We read this here. That we will get everything and that you assure there was more and that the country would eventually see the full Epstein list. Okay. According to information my office received, you then pressured the FBI to put approximately 1,000 personnel in its information management division, the IMD, including record information dissemination sections, which handled all requests submitted by the public under the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, and Privacy Act on 24-hour shifts to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records in order to produce more documents that could then be released on an arbitrarily short deadline. This effort, which reportedly took place from March 14th through the end of March, was haphazardly supplemented by hundreds of FBI New York field office personnel, many of whom lacked the expertise to identify statutorily protected information regarding child victims and child witnesses or properly handled FOIA requests. Oh my God. You cannot. Oh, didn't I tell you guys? I said there's no way that they said they had. What did they, I have the FBI letter? They told us. They told us that they had experts, analysts. No, bitch. They had the whole FBI building, which I'm sure they have a lot of those professionals in there. But it was 100,000 files reviewed. Okay, think about it this way. And I made a comparison to the Diddy case when they were trying to charge Diddy with the RICO case. Okay, it took them such a long time to prepare for that. This woman did not have the shit ready in February. She was hustling and bustling. Okay, saying one thing on Fox News and doing something different, talking about binders and all this bullshit. So she grabbed everybody from the FBI field office and told everybody, y'all we're gonna work 24 hours a day to disseminate all this, when they're not even some of these didn't even have those expertise or training to do that. This is a hot mess. A hot mess. That paragraph was enough. Kiss a mooch. Girl, thank you for sending me this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lord have mercy. I need a drink. I am clutching my invisible fur. I don't know what else to say. This is too much. This is too much. This is our government. This is how they do this. This is what they do. Lord have mercy. Let's keep reading this. My eyes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Next paragraph. My office was told that these personnel were instructed to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned. Remember that one word that was used by Trump when he said, "I'm okay with Pam releasing pertinent information," and we sat here just today we were like, what is pertinent information? What does pertinent information mean? Pertinent information is anything that doesn't involve him or his associates that he's chummy with. That's pertinent information. This is why Mercy Miami, we are all so cynical. Period. Like we can't handle grabbing my eyes. My eyes are burning too. I don't even know what to say. See what happens when you place Scientology sympathizers in charge. Period. Pam, we all see you, my love. We see you. We see you. We see you. Flag when he is mentioned. There you go. We got to get through this. I don't know if listen, we might get to the Washington, not the Wall Street lawsuit. We might not, but listen, that might be a whole separate video for tomorrow that I'll do a pre-recorded for you guys. Because it's just, I'm recovering from this, y'all. I am. Okay, let's keep going. My office was told that these personnel were instructed to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned. Notably, in 2002, Mr. Trump said of Mr. Epstein, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." Just yesterday, it was reported that the department previously reviewed a leather-bound album comprised of dozens hold up, this is like getting smaller, of dozens of letters from Mr. Epstein's friends in celebration of his 50th birthday in 2003. The letters were collected by Mr. Epstein's partner, Maxwell, and she included one from President Trump that allegedly contained several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. Guys, believe it or not, look, he's suing. I have that lawsuit. He's suing. If that is fake and it has not been authenticating, we have a problem with that. And I would have sued too. I'm be honest with you. But since it's being mentioned here, this is why I'm saying it here. Let's keep going. And the future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist. By the way, this is straight out of the Wall Street Journal article, this whole little paragraph right there, because I've been reading it over and over. Despite tens of thousands of personnel hours reviewing and re-reviewing these Epstein-related records over the course of 2 weeks in March, it took DOJ more than 3 additional months to officially find that there is no incriminating client list. And the memorandum with this finding includes no mention of the whistleblower or additional documents that exist, of which you publicly claim on February 27th. Yep, that letter right there. There it is. Right there, my friends. Y'all can see my mouse, but let me see if I can make myself smaller, actually. Right here. So in the letter that Pam wrote to Kash Patel, she was very disappointed in this letter, and we read this, right? She said that there was a source. She didn't call the source a whistleblower. It said it's a source, right? Who is that? What source came to Pam and said, hey, you haven't checked out New York. The FBI office has like thousands of files in there. Okay. It further goes, the second finding in the July 7 memorandum does not contradict any official statements from the DOJ and accords with the DOJ Inspector General investigation into the Bureau of Prisons custody of Jeffrey Epstein. However, public skepticism of the government's transparency in this matter has been needlessly increased due to your release of surveillance video from the outside of Jeffrey Epstein's cell in the hours leading up to the death, which the July 7 memorandum describes as full raw footage. And it does. They said it was a full raw footage, okay? In fact, the footage was likely modified according to the metadata embedded in the video. They said it was 1 minute, and then they said it was what is it, 3 minutes? Like, it's just one after another. Okay. Given the serious questions about the veracity of your public statements regarding the Epstein-related records in DOJ's possession and the efforts and the effects those questions are having on the public's ability to trust the DOJ, July 7th findings that there is no incriminating client list, I ask you to provide the following information in material no later than August 1st, 2025. Okay, so here are the questions. This is what they want. Number 1, have you personally reviewed all files in DOJ's possession related to Jeffrey Epstein? That's a good question. Because I don't think she has. If she had to hire how many officers over a period of how long? For them to work 24 hours and so many of them, this is crazy. And this is why I'm like, people do need to, Maxwell needs to be pulled. She needs to say something. And if she's got information that needs to be put out there, I'm not liking the handling of any of this at all. Like the way it's been going, it's crazy to me. It further goes. Number 2, the records DOJ released on February 27 did not include a client list. Why did you publicly claim on February 21st that the client list was sitting on my desk right now to review? A, if it was not a client list, what was sitting on your desk at that moment? Pretty basic question. Listen, we have a problem. Number 3, please provide the names and titles of the department ethics officials with whom you consulted on your potential conflict of interest in this matter and any records or material related to this consultation. What was the conflict of interest? Said, please provide the names and titles of the department ethics officials. That's right, because in the memorandum it said that they had pulled like analysts, ethics people, a bunch of people. Okay. Please provide the names and titles of department ethics official with whom you consulted on your potential conflict of interest in this matter. Okay, so there was a conflict of interest in this matter and any records or material related to this consultation. Okay, number 4. When did the whistleblower disclose to you that thousands of pages of additional Epstein related records exist? When did she talk to Rhonda from New York? Remember, we had 2 characters. We had Becky, who was the person from the FBI, who was like, no, Pam, we don't have it. We're fine. This is Becky from the FBI. And then we had Rhonda, who was in the New York City office, who was like, listen, there's more records. You just don't know. And I'm pretending her name is Rhonda. I don't think that's her name. You said Rhonda's back from Turks and Caicos, Becky and yeah, that's right. She fired DOJ ethics attorney this week. There you go, attorney. Like, you can't. This is a mess and a half. Let's keep going, y'all. It's all related, right? I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I feel like, yo, and then the department, don't they have like the education department got a lot of big cuts. Some of these people can't get a clue with education. So I don't know what to make of this. We're so fucked. We stop. Oh man, let me get a drink. Hold up. Somebody needs to check on Rhonda. Somebody go call Rhonda and Becky and put their asses in Congress and have them testify. Okay. All right, let's keep going, y'all. I have to laugh because some of this is just depressing to even think about, y'all. Okay. Let's see. When did the whistleblower disclose to you that thousands of pages of additional Epstein related records exist? Through what process did the whistleblower make this disclosure to you? That's a great question. Was the whistleblower disclosure provided to Congress or the DOJ Office of Inspector General, the OIG? If no, please transmit a copy of the disclosure to the committee and the OIG. Yeah, how did this whistleblower know that? Like, she said in that letter that she was talking to the FBI and they said it was only 200, and then she got a call from the New York office and then it kind of happened that way. But how did it come about that way? When did she find out? Literally. Okay. That's the question. Did DOJ identify additional documents based on the whistleblower's disclosure? Aside from the negative backlash you received over the February 27th record release, what was the purpose of placing almost 1,000 FBI IMD personnel on 24-hour shifts to review Epstein-related records over the course of a 2-week period in March? Did this really happen? Is that what they did? So the people that these agents, and not to say that that's not their area. I mean, they're FBI agents. I'm assuming that we have the best of the best sometimes. I don't know, but what was their specialty in areas and stuff like that to be able to do this? Because that's intense. I've seen this done when I worked in government. There would be like state audits and federal audits. I used to do federal audits too. Like I went and participated in a state audit where the feds came over and we were reviewing files. This is a real thing. The feds come over and review your files for the state, for counties, for government, like all agencies. And then based on that, funding is determined whether that entity gets any money, like making sure that they don't fall in any sanctions for any wrongdoing in human services. So this is a big thing. I remember I had to go to Washington for this stuff. So it's a huge thing to have people audit and stuff like that. So I do wonder if they just use personnel or did they should have hired outside people to do this, honestly. But okay, let me keep going. Who made the decision to reassign hundreds of New York field office personnel to this March review of Epstein-related records? Okay. That's the question. Why were personnel told to flag records in which President Trump was mentioned? Why was this even a thing? So whatever gets released, President Trump is not going to be mentioned. Okay. Why were personnel records told to flag anything pertaining to Trump? Please list all political appointees and senior DOJ officials involved in the decision to flag records in which President Trump was mentioned. What happened to the records mentioning President Trump once they were flagged? They were destroyed. There, I answered the question. Here it is. This is Richard J. Durbin. For those that were asking, what's this about? Is there a log of records mentioning President Trump? If yes, please transmit a copy of the log to the committee and the OIG. Did personnel review any correspondence to Mr. Epstein, including letters compiled in a letter-bound album as part of this year's review? Did personnel review any correspondence between Trump and Mr. Epstein, including the letter in the reported letter-bound album as part of this year's review? Why is the July 7th memorandum making the two official findings regarding Jeffrey Epstein unsigned by the DOJ or the FBI? That's a great question. That memorandum that's on the FBI website, the one that we read, doesn't have a signature by other party. It just doesn't. Okay. Please list all political appointees and senior DOJ officials involved in the review of the Epstein-related records since February 2025. Please list all political appointees and senior DOJ officials involved in the drafting of the July 7 memorandum. Why does this July 7 memorandum describe the surveillance footage as full raw when it was modified? That's a great question as well. Okay. Please describe the details of the modifications made to the full raw surveillance footage before its publications. I look forward to your full immediate response to these questions. Prompt attention to this important matter is crucial to understanding the truth and preventing the administration's actions from causing greater harm. And this is, again, the Honorable Charles E. Glassy is CC'd here, Chairman, Senate Committee on the Judiciary. Okay, here it is. Pat Bondi, Kash Patel, and Don Bongino have made a mess of the Epstein files. It's time to clear it up for all the American people. Why didn't Biden release them his 4 years? That's a great question. He should have done that. Can I do the cross-examination, please? Could you please clear anyways, this is just more information that's not related to that. All of this should have been cleared a long time ago, but the way it's been handled has been ridiculous. And I would have to agree with that. And a lot of people, regardless of what you voted for, y'all, this is insane. Now hold up. This is the Times. FBI was told to flag mentions of Trump in Epstein files. This is concerning. This was earlier today. I swear to God, it's been like quite the news day. It's always a news day when it's talking about this White House stuff. What do you guys think so far? Hold up now. Let me make sure I delete this because it's a mess, man. It is a mess. Thank you, Kisamooch, for sharing that with me. This is the Times article, and that included that little thing that we just read. But this is interesting. So Durbin, the top Democrat of the Senate Judiciary Committee, said his office had received information that roughly 1,000 FBI personnel were put in 24-hour shifts in March to comb through approximately 100,000 documents connected to Epstein. So it was 1,000 FBI agents who did this, who went through everything, and then they came up with the 2-page little memorandum that said, no, there's nothing to see here at all. This is weird. You said people have perfectly good copies of those Epstein files. Trust and believe that, period. I don't know what to make of this, man. We need to drain the swamp, starting with the chum. Well, pardon my Frenchie. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this. Trump is swimming in the swamps. But isn't that what he said, that they wanted to drain the swamp? When these assholes are swimming in it, they're swimming right in it. So I don't know who's draining what at this point. Who and what? Like, who's swimming? I don't know what else to make it. I don't trust any of these people. Literally, it's crazy. What do y'all think? It is literally, yeah. The swamp is in their DNA. They're chummy with Shrek. Yes, they are. They all do the same shit. That's what it seems like. They're swimming in the toilet bowl. Well, they're swimming in something, y'all. This makes no sense. Now, maybe let's see how much time we have. I got about 10 minutes. Maybe I can review a little bit of the hold up. Let me stop this right here. I'm going to review a little bit of the don't save. Okay. I think it's right here. We do have the where'd it go? Is this it? Yeah. So there was a lawsuit that was filed today. This is crazy, y'all. I don't even know what to say. And Trump is suing the Washington, I'm sorry, the Wall Street Journal. Okay. And this is the lawsuit. I was able to obtain it. The biggest thing is they're talking about the art, but the biggest thing here, y'all, like one thing that stood out to me is that the White House was made mention of this stuff that was going to be released. Like, so on July 15, 2025, Joseph, is it Palozzo? Something like that. I'm going to call him Joseph because I can't say his last name. Sent an email to the White House press secretary, Caroline Levitt, advising of Dow Jones intent to publish an article which discussed a purported letter sent by President Trump to Epstein for Epstein's 50th birthday. So they're going back in there, and apparently they wrote back, and the Wall Street Journal, because you know how some journalists will write to get your comment or statement about a letter, just if they're writing an article on you, they'll want to hear your thought process behind, what they're writing, or if you have a comment. And so they tried to say this is false news. This is not real. And so then it went from that to like, they published it. That's what they're saying. My thing is, though, and I was doing a pre-recorded video on this, so I'm going to do a pre-recorded video and leave it at that. But my thing about this, though, and it's pretty unclear, because my understanding is that the information that they got, where this letter came from Maxwell, right? Maxwell gave these letters, or somebody in Maxwell's team gave this letter to the Wall Street Journal. And I was thinking about this, and I said, y'all, do you guys realize that, this Maxwell lady, she might be behind bars, but she's truly sitting on a lot of things. If that letter with the art and the little poetic play narrative between Trump and Epstein is true, if it's true, if you believe it, I'm thinking in my mind, she might have been like holding this against him, just like Epstein was holding it against other people. Like that would be an example of material. You think that was her carrot? I'm thinking that too. Because like I find it mighty convenient. The woman is asking to be pardoned. The woman's asking for a hearing. She's asking for something. Trump's not even looking at her right now. But I do wonder if she said, I'm gonna release this little nugget to the Wall Street Journal, who, depending on where you land, they're willing to, they don't get in the mud of gossip, if that makes sense. I do have a lot of questions about how they authenticated this material and how they went about it. I have a lot of questions about that. But if it's true, and Wall Street Journal is like basically saying it's true, and we're not taking it back, and they're probably willing to go to court for it, if you know what I mean. Just imagine what else this woman is sitting on. I would be too, eternity. Like, she's probably right there, scared for her life. I would be too, in prison, behind bars and everything, and just worried about, I gotta watch my own back. This is deep. This is deep, if that makes sense. Olsen, oh my God, thank you so much for the $9.99. I'm trying to be very careful, y'all, because they've been censoring a lot of my videos when it comes to this. So thank you. So any support is so gratefully appreciated. Thank you so much for the $9.99, Olsen. Appreciate it. And make sure you guys are hitting the like button, please, and thank you. Think about how long she was on the run for. Of course, she might have left information with someone. Teammaker, that's what I'm thinking. Teammaker, like, how do you know? The timing of all of this is so convenient, y'all. Think about it, okay? And it just keeps going. And tomorrow it might be something else, right? yesterday was like crazy work because, you know, we were still kind of coming back from like Comey being fired and seeping in that, like getting that news out and trying to make something of it. Comey made a statement. We read her statement yesterday, right? Then we get the statement that Pam is filing motions to unseal documents with the court. Okay. And then there's the one in Florida. So that's the one from New York that I just read to you guys. That was that. Okay. Then the Wall Street Journal releases all, like in the hour that we were live, all this information, this piece of art that allegedly was drawn by Donald Trump to Epstein. And it essentially was of a naked woman, you know, with the pubic hair, and then Donald Trump's signature on the bottom. Okay. And then he gave like a little cryptic messages about something about your best secret. You know what this reminded me of? I was listening to the Alicia Keys song, Your Secrets Are Safe With Me. That one. Oh my God. I said, this is giving Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. That song is just so like, you'll be in my pages of your diary. I promise. Like that's what is giving. That's what it's giving Alicia Keys. Okay. But I just couldn't help. I couldn't help but wonder about that. Because I'm like, it's the narrative of that little like thing. If it's true, I'm like, damn, some ish is just gonna die. I know I'm singing because I'm thinking of that Alicia Keys song I was listening to earlier. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Anyways, let me stop. Yeah, Trump wrote that letter. But he didn't know he was protecting. He was a Pedialyte. That's not clear. But he definitely wrote that letter. I swear to God, I was like, man, it's giving Alicia Keys. Anyways, moving on. Yeah. I'm just like, maybe this lady's sitting on information and she gave this little carrot to the Wall Street Journal so they can publish it. Because if the Wall Street Journal really cared about a comment from Donald Trump, they wouldn't have published the information without at least having a comment from the president or anything like that. I have a lot of questions about this. I don't know what to make of it. Let's see. Maxwell's still guilty of supplying the young girls to Epstein. Lauren, there's a lot of people. Don't forget that when he signed that non-prosecutorial agreement, it named potential unindicted co-conspirators by name. And some of these were models. The pageant industry, Miss Universe, the connection to the modeling industry. Then you have Lex Wexner. Then you have Jean Bernal, the recruiter. Like all of this is just so connected and so dirty. Then you have Mike Jeffries. The Lex Wexner connection there. It's too dirty. It's too dirty. It's basura, it's cochino, all of it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Bondi knew of this and she was flagged. Let me tell you that flagging piece, it's in there. It's in there, guys. She was so if you are to believe what is being written here, my friends, by Durbin, it's basically saying the memo. Now the memo itself, no client list. We read this. This is the Times. Hold up. Now he's saying that not only did they like get everybody, but he's saying that my office was told that these personnel were instructed to flag any records in which the president, Trump, was mentioned. So does he have a whistleblower there too? Because this is what it sounds like. It sounds like I got a little whistleblower that was in the White House, was hearing, somebody was hearing this chisme, and they went over there and they told Durbin about this. Richard Durbin, they said, Richard, we got some chisme. Let me tell you what's going on in the White House. This is some chisme. Pam, Trump told Pam, you see my name, make sure it's flagged, put out away. I need a secondary review out of this. Something's going on here. You said you know shit hits the fan when you see Chris Hansen walk into the White House. Lord have mercy. Not Chris Hansen. Why doesn't Rabbit show the Chris Hedges interview or the article? Which Chris Hedge interview? I'm not even looking at that. Palabras, what are you talking about? I'm looking at a link. What do you want me to show specifically? Because it'd be great if you could, if you want to email it to me, I would love to show it because I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you. You said if anyone thinks Trump wasn't on the list, come on. I'm sure his name was mentioned all over. You said, take a seat, Chris Hansen. Why don't you take a seat? Right? Epstein, and they've said that the man was an informant. I mean, I believe it too. How did he get a sweetheart deal in that situation too? No, and then her dad too, that whole connection right there. All of these people were very, very high elite people. Very, very high elite people. You said, didn't Trump help the FBI in Epstein's first arrest? That's the question. You said what is the link? I just shared it. I don't know what you're talking about. Which one specifically? I'm looking at the article. This is the one that was sent to me. I just read it. So I don't know what specifically you want me to look at. This is the article. Is there something more specific? We read the basis of the letter. I didn't want to go through the whole article again because it's the letter that we just read. Trump is on that list. That's why he said he was going to show the list, because he wanted to see if he was on the list, and he is now. He's going to not show it. Well, thing is, Kim, it's like, I go back to this. I don't know what is so surprising, even for the people that like are, y'all voted for him, and that's fine. Completely get it. But you knew his dealings. He never really concealed that. So to me, it's like, people need to kind of wake up and know, well, you weren't had. You knew what you voted for. You honestly think that he was going to release something that would have implicated him in a crime or his associates? That makes absolutely no sense. Why would he do that to himself? That makes no sense to do that. It just doesn't. He said, it's bad when Kevin Spacey is the least worried about the season of House of Cards. My God, Kevin Spacey. Over him being voted, let's figure out where we can go from here. And you're so right, Foxy. I think we just need to figure out where we go from here. Nothing. Yeah, Rabbit. Nothing's been released yet. That's right. And even if it was, he's not going to have his name out there. But you're absolutely right. We have to know where we go from here moving forward. And I don't know, like something's got to change with this situation. Yeah, this is bigger than y'all know. It goes back decades. Basics are not new at all. Absolutely. But yes, it's a lot of money, but he's not smart. I'm just wondering what next. Is everybody at all surprised by this? Here you have, hold up. Let me see what else is being posted here. Daniel Goldman, nice try at AG Pam Bondi. What about videos, photographs, and recordings? What about the FBI's 302's witness interviews? What about texts and emails? That's where the evidence about Trump and others will be. Grand jury testimony will only relate it to Epstein and Maxwell. That's what they want. The thing is, though, here's the problem. It's like, you guys should have released this before. But what I don't like is that the Democrats are using this as leverage to attack the Republicans, where it's like, wait a minute, why didn't you guys release this before? It should have been released a long time ago. What are we doing here? Why are y'all doing this? You're crazy that it's like they're using it again. Look at this. Walking into the weekend knowing you never panic. He's throwing shade at people, especially those people that supported him that don't support him anymore, because he did lose a lot of supporters on the MAGA side. He's losing a lot of people on the MAGA side, y'all. You said Biden is on the list, or his family. Who knows, man? All I know is that these people just want to protect themselves. They don't give an ish about each. They don't get it. They don't care. They're just protecting themselves. But people are losing it. People are feeling some type of way about it, and I don't blame them. At the same time, it's like, look at this. Look what somebody said. For all you MAGA who keep asking why Biden didn't release the Epstein files, why didn't Biden release the Epstein files? The Epstein records were sealed by a judge until after Maxwell's trial. They weren't unsealed until January 2024. So no, Biden couldn't release what wasn't legally available. Biden didn't run a cult. He let the DOJ operate independently, unlike Trump, who demands a loyalty oath and and treats every agency like his personal operatives. And no Democrat on a platform promising to release the Epstein files. Trump did, then blocked them. I don't know about all this, but okay. Everybody is losing it. You know, Jeff, I'm probably the only man on the planet who can cheat on my wife. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Let me stop. They're really coming for him. And there it is. You no longer have Medicaid, so expect big bills. People, Nick Fuentes, F you, you suck, you fat, you're a joke, you're stupid, you're not funny. The entire thing has been a scam. We're going to look back at MAGA movement as the biggest scam in history. The liberals were right. We will see Trump as a scammer. Did he really say this? Isn't this guy like horrible?
And honestly,
hold on.
And now he says, if you're not on board with the Epstein cover-up, I don't want your support. You're a weakling.
We saw this yesterday.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You suck. You are fat. You are a joke. You are stupid.
Oh my God.
You are not funny. You are not as smart as you think you are. You are, and honestly, and if you watch my show, you know I've been very critical. I've never been this far. This just goes to show this entire thing has been a scam. When we look back on the history of populism in America, we are going to...
Yes, I'm familiar with the Katie Johnson situation, and her videos have resurfaced again. We actually talked about it 2 days ago.
Look back on the MAGA movement as the biggest scam in American history. And the liberals were right. The MAGA supporters were had. They were. When we look back in history, we will see Trump as a scam artist.
He said the liberals were right, y'all. Y'all.
Who served as a vehicle for this rather than the other way around. We were not the vehicle for Trump. Trump was the vehicle for all of us.
Let's keep going, y'all. I didn't say it. I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. He said it, not me. Okay, don't come for me. Okay, y'all know I'm welcoming. I'm not here. I'm just telling you what the people in the MAGA side are saying. Hey, MAGA, if this is a hoax, why is this woman in jail? That's the question that we ask. MAGA 2024, release the files. MAGA 2025, protect the Pedialites. Oh my God. All of MAGA now. The face you make when you realize you've been endorsing a... Oh my goodness. That's not a cute face. That's not cute. Yeah, Amanda, take it for what it's worth. I'm not a fan of that guy. I'm like, what? Lord have mercy. You said holy-ish. Okay, this is 7 hours. MAGA boys, Obama should be in prison. It's the deflection for me. Girl, what about the Epstein files? Sure, put them all in. Put all these political people in prison. Oh, and then Colbert got fired too. There was that. I've noticed something. To be successful on Fox, you've got to be blonde. To be successful on CNN, you got to be dumb. To be successful on NBC, on MSNBC, you got to be ugly. Lord have mercy. The internet has no chill. Oh my gosh. Bill O'Reilly. This is crazy, y'all. Okay, MAGA. I'll just leave this right here. This was a child too. This is crazy. But this is fake news. None of this is real. None of this is real. None of this is real. Anyways, the internet is like no chill whatsoever on. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're not going to see that. Anyways, moving on. That's what's going on. The people are having some meltdowns. You said I'm not a fan, but I have been called. Oh, Kate was attacked with Maria, and she never saw her again. Oh my goodness. I said we all know about We all know about how I feel about Bill, or how you feel about Phil. Is everybody okay? Are y'all okay? That's Alex Jones. Yeah, that was Alex Jones earlier. I don't know what to say, but something nefarious is going on. That's what it is. And I'm even more curious about this situation right here. And I wonder if anybody else is going to talk about it. Specifically this one, y'all. This one right here. Okay. This right here, you guys. This is what we just talked about. This little letter that was written. Okay. For Pam Bondi. All of this. And look at what they're citing. They're citing the articles in the news, so they can reference that. This is just crazy work. All of this is a mess. All of this is a mess. All right, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm gonna do the WSJ in the lawsuit in a different video, just because I'm a little tired. It's Friday. It's Friday evening on my side. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know what else to say. I guess we'll see what happens moving forward. I don't know if I trust any of it. Like, you only get to get it right one time when it comes to this. I don't think that they're going to do right. They haven't done right by it. And whatever they're asking, it's not even going to be the thing that the American people are asking for. I know for sure that there's a lot of MAGA people that are not happy with the way in which a lot of this was handled. It should have been done differently. It wasn't done right. And I don't know if that's Pam Bondi or Kash Patel or Bongino or Trump or whoever it is. But this shit right here, this is a shitstorm. And I don't think they're going to be able to fix it anytime soon. I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you so much for those that supported the stream tonight. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Y'all are amazing. Morris, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you. And thank you. Watching a scandal come undone. That's right. It is. And Olson and Joe and Shanna and Life, thank you. And Greek Lady, thank you. And Jen, thank you. And Dee Dee. You guys are amazing. I will let you guys go because I got to go tend to Baby Bunny. But hey, let me know what y'all think. Okay. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Bye.